10 and 20 books by the time he passed. Died at the age of 90, and we were there studying. So at some point he said, because the men are always revered as the scholars, so Dr. Lessin gets invited to kind of pick up the baton. Zechariah was getting up there, and he didn't know how long he had to live, so he goes over to Dr. Lessin, and they have this conversation about, can you help me create an educational program? Because Dr. Lessin was a PhD, and he taught at the University of Hawaii, Manoa, and he was a guest teacher in California, and he was up in Oregon, he was up in Alaska, so he taught everywhere at a PhD level in universities, in various parts of the world. So that's where we started. But he had already started immersing himself in Christian studies because it confirmed his beliefs in studies and the missing links, the missing holes in what he was learning as an anthropologist. So anyway, there we are. So we've written 5 books on the Anunnaki. He's working on the 6th book. He used to teach comparative religion, so he's going into now looking at from the Anunnaki's perspective, putting them in the equation, and then re-looking at all the religions. So he taught comparative religion like in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, maybe even to the 90s. So now he's just applying Sitchin studies. And we've gone way beyond Sitchin, even because Sitchin's been dead since over the 2010. So it's 10 years later. So he's always my husband gets up at 1 and 2 in the morning and he just studies. Yeah. So next person.
Well, that's wonderful. I mean, I've always been fascinated with Sitchin's books. What an education experience you had with that. That's great.
It's ongoing, so we're probably going to do a bunch of recordings. I'm getting the glitches out of his computer, and I just got him a new mic, and we're going to do a whole series, an educational series. So if anybody's interested,
that'd be great. That'd be really good.
And we're going to do some webinars on it because nobody goes into this level of detail. But like you said, now there's all these people out there, and there's a lot of people that are bashing the information and putting their own spin to it. So, of course, Ancient Aliens did that for the last, I don't know how many years they're doing, 15 years now or something? Ancient Aliens.
They've been what? They've been honoring Sitchin?
No, the television show. So they put everybody comes along, puts their twist in. It's like the old game when you would whisper in somebody's ear and then by the time you come full circle you could see how twisted things are. So everybody's putting a twist into all the information. It's just like, Christianity, right? It's like, there's a bunch of twists in there too. So not much you can do about that except look in your own heart and soul and say, what resonates with me?
Yeah, everybody should realize they have their own walk, and, but you will find, I think, especially now, I think everybody's very shaken with the surroundings that affects the energy, and there's some people whose issues bring them to put others down or take their, deal that they haven't cleaned out their origin yet.
Yeah, you see who people who feel the need to put somebody else down, that's a level of insecurity on their end.
It is.
So if you were just objective of your own behavior, why do I have to, cut somebody else down? Why can't I just stand on my own merit and my own beliefs? So I think it's really important in the COVID times.
I think so, too. I think everybody puts their own idea, and, I think it's really helpful when people can get into their emotional, heart chakra instead of get out of their head. And then they see a lot of things work out and clear in order to raise that up. So
you can, if you find yourself being harsh or critical, if you just imagine the chakra system and pulling it down in through your heart chakra, and then say it again. say it from your heart, it'll usually come out. That's just a simple exercise. But if you find yourself, really projecting or being insecure and critical, you might want to do some therapy on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
really. And they should be asking those questions themselves because they're the one who came in with the lesson. And if they don't get it neutralized, it'll go back out with them. Yeah.
Right. It's hard to be objective about yourself. So that's why we have our mirrors in the world.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been amazed here in my part of the United States how people are not using their mask or their gloves. And it's really, really tricky. Now, I live in an area called the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And in Arlington, which is a suburb of Fort Worth, in between Dallas and Fort Worth, they do it. They have good guidelines. They follow. In Dallas, you rarely see anybody with one. It's really something.
So I wonder how, and this thing doesn't have a breakdown of cities. It just has states. I'm looking for one of the chart sites that say what's going on. Now, I wonder if they've seen it
come up some.
Yeah.
Have you seen it under the light? Because they've shown what it's like under a certain kind of light, what the virus looks like. It's pretty scary. And the little specks that are everywhere. Yeah, they have that on CNN a lot. They just had it about 30 minutes. It's interesting. A certain kind of camera that they take if somebody's breathing and how to measure the particles from the breathing as opposed to the surfaces and all of that. So, yeah, and now masks are becoming a fashion play. Yeah.
We were talking about Nancy Pelosi.
I think it's a good thing that, in a way, it should show people that, to seek, to ask questions, because this is a play. We're in a play, a momentary play.
Right.
We've all been in many, and then we're forever. So as much as we can learn whatever we came in here for, then we neutralize what the issue is, as you all know, and then we don't have to do it anymore. But if we don't get it neutralized, it stays in our electromagnetic field and all of our cellular molecular structure and goes forward to the next place.
Right.
So, so that's interesting.
So this is karmic, and this is energy, and this is breath, and this is life, and this isn't the first rodeo we've been in. We've been in pandemics in other lives. I have a deep soul memory of being in with the plague and other things, and so when that came around this time, I went, oh no, not this again. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And ironically, I'm watching Catherine the Great, and she had to deal with smallpox, right? And they just killed people. They were dropping every dead, and they were just taking all their serfs out to a field and burning them. So you see fires burning every night, right? And so apparently I don't know how much is true. It's like a parody on Catherine and Peter the Great, but she learned about, they had a different term for it, but basically it's like what we do, the vaccines. And so she got a little bit of a pus from somebody that had died. It's like getting the antibodies, right? And she put her knife in it, and in front of everybody, because she says, we can't be afraid of this, she takes the knife and she stabs in her hand, or, in her, the upper part of her hand, and she, injects herself with the, so she had read about this and talked about it with a colleague who all they did was read about it in books. This is how you handle this pandemic. And so, of course, she didn't get it. And so she started inoculating her people, and they eliminated the smallpox.
Wow, that's
great.
Interesting.
and that was in the 1700s. So this has been around. We've had viruses and pandemics for a long time. Mm-hmm. And, of course, in the Dark Ages, this goes back to the Anunnaki. They said that they saw it became the prototype for the Grim Reaper, right? So they saw these people in masks, and they were spraying the field. And the next day, that town would have the plague, right? So they were spraying it, and people were breathing it in. So somebody back there around the year 1000, and I'd say it was an advanced race that knew about biochemical warfare, purposely infected, because they wanted to keep the population down. So when humans were breeding and they had too many humans, there was some faction of, I suppose, with the Anunnaki, was calling the population and getting it down to a manageable number. So here we have a history of it.
Yeah, that is. That's interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting in the personalities and how people are, and time also, too. You know, I posted that little video that you all have seen, you know, that was sent to me by a dear friend, and it's called The Volunteers. And it's the two little girls telepathically talking. It's totally darling. Have you seen it, Theresa?
I saw that one, yeah.
And
TJ, did you see that video? Are you there, TJ, or are you on mute?
Yeah, I'm here. I had done mute when y'all were talking.
Okay.
I don't know what. Did I miss it? I don't know what video you're talking about.
Okay. I posted it, and I try to post it every week because I try to reach people. And it probably passes through the news. I don't know I don't tag people because I feel like I'm intrusive on their timeline. I should, but I don't. But this, I just put it up there and I post it and repost it, and because people really need to see it. And it's cute.
On your domain,
it's soft.
On your domain name? I don't know what your domain is.
No, it's on my it's on my Facebook, my timeline on Facebook.
Oh, social media. Oh, yeah, I don't check people's social media. I don't even check my own. So unless, people are into social media, I guess because I'm always doing stuff, but I just don't check people's social media. But if you want me to see it, I guess we should. That's the reason I guess we're meeting on these radio shows, Karen, because, everybody is different, and I guess people don't know that.
Well, a lot of people don't like social media. A lot of people don't like Facebook. But especially, that's how it is right now. In fact, I heard on the news somewhere that they're thinking about maybe things might always become even more virtual and even more technologically, astute in in some way. But I find that, when I look at the news, it's like looking at the newspaper. Look up people's names.
Go ahead. I didn't hear one of the times.
What you say about
finish your sentence and then TJ say yours.
Oh, I just think it's kind of like a newspaper for our field, by everybody that we're friends with. We get to see, what they're doing on the thing. That's what I do. And then I got this sent to me, and I posted it. I thought it was just fantastic. So I can send it to you if you'd like. I can message you, or I can text it to you.
Well,
or you can go on my timeline and scroll down and watch it.
Here.
Yeah, what I do is I go to people's. Yeah, I'll pull your name up in Karen. I'll pull your name up and see what comes up. But usually, what I'll do is I guess because we build shows, is I go to a person's name or website and look for them. Karen Gresham Nickell, right?
Yeah, I don't.
So you should have a page come up in Google. Oh, okay. Karen Gresham Nickell.
I have a page that's my company. I have a page that's my company. It's Altius Opus, but I need to keep it up. I don't keep it up very much, and I'll just put something like this on just my personal. But I can send it to people.
But it was something that you.
TJ.
Well, I'm looking